She's lying right next to you, but it feels like miles away. Same stretched out pajamas. Same glow from the phone screen. You reach for her, and she shifts just enough to send the message. Not tonight. No argument. No excuse. Just another quiet rejection you're supposed to swallow, like it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, in her head, she's still the prize. Still that 20-something bombshell who could make men compete for her attention. Still convinced she deserves your constant pursuit, while giving you nothing in return. And you've been trained to play along. You accept the scraps of affection. You act grateful for the bare minimum. You keep telling yourself this is normal, that all long-term relationships look like this. But here's the brutal truth. It's not normal. It's not love. It's neglect dressed up as marriage. And the longer you tolerate it, the more invisible you become in your own bed. She doesn't stop desiring because life got busy. She stops because she doesn't have to desire you anymore. Not because her passion died, but because she knows you'll stay no matter how cold she becomes. And that's the silent killer of passion. When comfort turns into contempt. When presence turns into furniture. When being a good husband really means being an ignored one. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will flip everything you thought you knew about keeping her love alive. She's lying right there, but you feel alone. You reach out. She turns away. No fight. No words. Just silence and distance. You call it stress. You call it exhaustion. But deep down, you know better. This is the new pattern of your marriage. Nights pass with no spark. Days blur with no affection. You've stopped being her desire. You've become her routine. A background presence she no longer works to impress. And here's the sting. She still believes she's the prize. In her mind, she's the same woman you once chased like a wild animal. She thinks her presence is enough. That you should feel grateful for whatever crumbs of affection she decides to drop your way. And you, without realizing it, keep feeding that delusion. Every time you accept neglect, you confirm her belief. Every time you tolerate distance, you train her that your needs don't matter. Every time you stay silent, you teach her that effort is optional. You think you're being patient. You think you're being a good husband. But you're not building love. You're destroying desire. Because here's the truth. No one wants to say, patience doesn't bring passion back. Tolerance doesn't rebuild attraction. Understanding doesn't inspire intimacy. What it really does is kill the spark piece by piece. You've turned your marriage into a safe cage, and cages don't create fire. Look at the contrast. She saves her best energy for outsiders. She lights up when strangers talk to her. She laughs at jokes from men who don't even matter. She puts effort into her appearance when she goes out. But for you, oversized t-shirts, messy hair, disconnected eyes. That's not an accident. That's a signal. Why does she do it? Because you've become the one thing no man should ever be in his woman's eyes. Guaranteed. Not magnetic, but predictable. Not a prize, but a possession. Not a challenge, but a convenience. And convenience never inspires desire. And this goes deeper than sex. It's about how she sees you. Does she respect you? Does she see you as a man with options? Or has she locked you in a box? Provider, roommate, safety net, while the lover you once were has been buried alive. Every day you accept this role, you dig your own grave as a man. You tell her without words that your needs don't matter, that you'll stay no matter what, that she can neglect you forever without losing a thing. And here's the coldest truth. Why would she change? Where's the cost? Where's the risk? She still has your loyalty, your paycheck, your presence, your commitment. You keep giving, and she keeps withdrawing. She has no reason to fight for you because you've made yourself impossible to lose. So let's strip it bare. What killed her desire wasn't stress, not time, not kids, not age. It was this: no pressure, no consequences, no polarity. You stopped being the man she wanted, and she stopped trying to keep you. This is why you feel invisible. This is why you feel like a roommate instead of a lover. This is why you lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, asking yourself when everything changed. And the answer is brutal. It changed when you traded passion for patience, when you chose tolerance over standards, when you believed love meant accepting less instead of demanding more. That's the cold truth. And unless you face it, nothing else will matter. She lives in a dream where nothing has changed since her 20s. In her mind, she's still the hot girl who could walk into a room and turn every head. She still believes she's the prize men would fight for. She still thinks she deserves endless pursuit without lifting a finger to earn it. But here's the problem. Time has passed. Life has shifted. She's no longer competing in the same way, yet her self-image hasn't caught up. She thinks she's maintaining value just by existing. She confuses attention with attraction. She mistakes validation with commitment. Look at how it plays out. A trainer at the gym smiles politely. She reads it as desire. A coworker makes small talk. She calls it flirting. Strangers double-tap her photos online. She takes it as proof she's still irresistible. It feels real to her. But it's not real value, because men will throw attention at anything halfway attractive. They'll drop likes, make comments, toss out compliments. But would they invest? Would they commit? Would they sacrifice for her? That's a different calculation entirely. And deep down, she doesn't face that truth. So she builds her identity on monopoly money, fake currency that looks like wealth, but buys nothing. She counts every glance, every emoji, every harmless flirtation as proof she's still the prize. And this illusion poisons your marriage. Why? Because she believes she's doing you a favor just by being there. She thinks her presence alone is contribution. She thinks you should be grateful she chose you, so she stops trying, stops dressing for you, stops initiating intimacy, stops seeing you as a man to win over, and starts seeing you as a man who's already locked down. Not effort, but entitlement. Not passion, but complacency. Not earning, but assuming. And here's what that means for you. You feel ignored, like your needs don't matter. You feel neglected, like you're not worth her effort anymore. You feel taken for granted, like a paycheck that shows up no matter what. You live with a woman who thinks her presence is a gift, while she treats you like background noise. And the cruel twist? You've been part of her training. Every time you stayed quiet when she pulled away, every time you accepted rejection with a smile, every time you kept paying, providing, showing up, without demanding respect, you taught her this behavior is fine. Think of it like a game. She won once, so she thinks the competition is over. She doesn't realize the game never ends. That attraction requires constant effort. That desire must be fed, not assumed. She believes the vows were the finish line, when they were only the starting point of a harder race. This fantasy keeps her blind. She doesn't see the gap between how she shows up for strangers versus how she shows up for you. She doesn't notice how her energy comes alive when she gets outside validation, yet flatlines when she walks back through your door. And why would she notice? In her dream, she's still the prize. But here's the twist she's forgotten. Being chosen once doesn't guarantee being chosen again. A man's commitment is not permanent by default. It's renewed daily through mutual effort. She stopped renewing hers, and you kept renewing yours. That imbalance is why the passion is gone. The fantasy feels good to her, but it's destroying you. And unless it breaks, she'll keep coasting, blind to the reality that her market value isn't what she believes. This is where most men make the fatal mistake. They think being patient will save the marriage. They think being endlessly understanding will win her back. They think that love means accepting less and waiting for her to come around. But patience doesn't create passion. Understanding doesn't build respect. Love doesn't survive without desire. What you think is kindness is actually weakness in her eyes. And weakness kills attraction faster than age, stress, or time ever could. Look at your behavior. She pulls away. You stay quiet. She withholds intimacy. You still provide. She disrespects your needs. You tell yourself, that's marriage. What you call being a good man is really you. Teaching her that your satisfaction doesn't matter, that your desires are optional, that she can stop trying and you'll still show up. Not leadership, but passivity. Not strength, but surrender. Not love, but self-erasure. And here's the cruel paradox. Good men destroy their own marriages by being too good, by tolerating neglect, by accepting scraps, by remove every consequence. Because what happens when behavior carries no cost? It repeats, and then it spreads. She learns that minimal effort gets maximum reward. She learns that affection is optional, because you'll stay no matter what. She learns that she can treat you like a roommate, a provider, even a piece of furniture. And you'll still give her loyalty, security, and comfort. And then you wonder why she's cold. Why she doesn't see you as a man anymore. Why her eyes wander. Why her energy lights up for everyone else but you. It's because she can't desire a man who has no backbone, a man who trades his masculinity for the false peace of never rocking the boat. Because here's the truth. Feminine energy responds to masculine energy. Not control, not dominance, but leadership, direction, presence, strength. When you withdraw those qualities, when you go soft, when you stop leading, she has nothing to respond to. Her femininity shuts down, and in that vacuum, she takes on masculine energy herself. And masculine women don't feel desire for passive men. They may appreciate the stability. They may enjoy the security. But passion, fire, respect, those evaporate. This is why your patience hasn't worked. This is why your understanding hasn't sparked intimacy. You thought peace would protect your relationship. But peace without passion is death. Comfort without polarity is friendship. Security without desire is just a contract. Ask yourself honestly, when did you stop being her lover and become her safety net? When did you stop being the man she wanted and turn into the man she settled with? When did you decide that her comfort was more important than your own hunger, your own needs, your own self-respect? These weren't accidents. They were choices. Choices made by not making choices. Every time you avoided conflict, you also avoided connection. Every time you chose silence, you also chose invisibility. Every time you accepted neglect, you also accepted the slow death of her desire. So don't lie to yourself. The passion didn't fade because of life's stresses. It faded because you stopped being the man she could respect. And without respect, there is no attraction. Without attraction, there is no intimacy. Without intimacy, the marriage is already dying. That is the death of desire. Here's what most men never learn. Love without consequences is the slowest form of death. Think about it. In every other part of life, actions have outcomes. You neglect your health, you get sick. You ignore your job, you get fired. You stop paying bills, you lose the house. But in your marriage, she can neglect you for months, even years, and nothing happens. No cost, no risk, no consequence. And what does human nature do when there's no consequence? It repeats the same behavior again and again. Your wife has been living in a consequence-free zone. She reduces intimacy. You stay. She ignores your needs. You stay. She treats you like a roommate. You still provide. She gives the bare minimum. You reward it with loyalty and stability. You've trained her that you're permanent, that no matter how little she invests, the outcome is the same. Not reality, but fantasy. Not partnership, but entitlement. Contrast that with women who live in the real economy of desire. Escorts, dancers, professionals who understand value. They know if they treat clients poorly, clients vanish. If they stop putting in effort, income disappears. They understand attraction is transactional. They know maintenance is required because attention must be earned daily, not assumed forever. It's not manipulation, it's psychology. And your wife has forgotten it because you've never made her remember. That's why consequences matter. Boundaries aren't cruelty. Withdrawal isn't punishment. Pulling back your energy isn't manipulation. It's reality. It's you showing that your presence, your love, your loyalty, these things are valuable. And when value is ignored, it gets withdrawn. Because here's the twist. Love without boundaries isn't noble. It's useless. Desire without polarity isn't intimacy. It's boredom. A relationship without consequences isn't secure. It's already dead. So what does this look like in practice? When she rejects intimacy, you don't roll over and cuddle. You let her feel the distance. When she treats you dismissively, you don't sit there smiling. You remove your energy from the room. When she takes you for granted, you don't drop everything to please her. You make other plans. Calm, silent, natural. Not threats, not drama, not games. Just cause and effect. Because that's what wakes her up. Not your words, but your actions. Not your complaints, but your absence. Not your explanations, but your silence. When she feels the cost of neglect, she remembers your value. When she sees you investing elsewhere, your fitness, your purpose, your friendships, she feels the gap she created. And that gap pulls her attention back to you. This is the power of consequences. They restore balance. They reset polarity. They remind her that love is not a guarantee. It's a choice renewed daily by both partners. Without consequences, she drifts. With consequences, she remembers. And until you embrace this truth, nothing changes. You'll keep begging for scraps. You'll keep training her to give less. You'll keep living as the invisible man in your own home. But once you understand this, everything shifts. Here's what most men don't understand. Female desire doesn't work the same way as male desire. Your drive is constant. You can want her every day, every week, every month. But hers, it's responsive. It needs activation. It needs cultivation. It's not automatic. And in long-term relationships, that spark doesn't ignite itself. You have to create the conditions for it to return. This is why waiting never works. You think, maybe she'll feel like it tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into weeks. Weeks turn into months. Before you know it, you can't even remember the last time she looked at you with hunger. Desire doesn't come back through waiting. It comes back through intention. Not time, but tension. Not comfort, but polarity. Not patience, but pressure. And here's the science behind it. At the beginning, new love is a chemical storm. Dopamine, oxytocin, a cocktail of hormones that make attraction automatic. But that cocktail fades. Mystery disappears. Novelty vanishes. What's left isn't broken love. It's the transition from automatic desire to chosen desire, from chemical reaction to conscious action. This is where most couples fail. They mistake fading novelty for fading love. She thinks, "I don't feel the same. Maybe something's wrong with us." You think, "She's not into me anymore." But nothing's wrong except the lack of effort. Because female desire in long-term love doesn't spark by accident. It sparks by polarity, by tension, by absence and presence, by moments where she wonders if she still has you. Think about it. When you're always available, where's the anticipation? When you give unconditional attention, where's the thrill? When you've become her guarantee force, where's the chase? That's why you feel like roommates. No tension, no polarity, no spark. Comfort has replaced curiosity. Security has smothered sexuality. And in that flat emotional landscape, nothing grows. So what's the way out? It's not begging. It's not overcompensating. It's not trying harder to please. The way out is reclaiming your presence, rebuilding your polarity, restoring the frame she once responded to. You do this by shifting your energy, by investing in yourself first, your health, your mission, your appearance, by pulling back your constant availability, by letting her feel your absence when she neglects you, by reminding her, without words, that you are not guaranteed. Because here's the twist. She doesn't start desiring you again when you pour more into her. She starts desiring you when she feels she could lose you, when she realizes you are not permanently secured, but constantly chosen. When she sees that other women would want you, that's when her energy changes. That's when her eyes find you again. That's when her body remembers what it feels like to crave. You don't resurrect passion by chasing. You resurrect passion by becoming, by being the man she once fought to win, by living in a way that makes her feel the risk, the tension, the polarity she can't ignore. Not waiting for her to change, but changing yourself first. Not hoping for desire to return, but creating the conditions that demand it. This is how passion comes back. Not by chance, but by choice. So here's where it all comes together. You've seen the cold truth. You've seen the fantasy she lives in. You've seen how desire dies, and why. You've seen the power of consequences. You've seen how passion can be rebuilt. And now, the choice is in front of you. Do you keep living as the invisible man in your own home? Or do you finally become the man she cannot ignore? Because let's be clear, this isn't about punishing her. It's not about manipulation. It's not about games. It's about self-respect. It's about standards. It's about remembering that your presence is valuable. Your energy is valuable. Your love is valuable. And what is valuable should never be given away for free. Not silence, but boundaries. Not endless patience, but earned effort. Not waiting, but leading. You must understand this. A healthy marriage isn't built on guarantees. It's built on choices renewed every single day. When both partners know they could lose each other, they fight to keep each other. When both feel consequences, they show effort. When both understand value, they protect it. But right now, only you are playing that game. You've been giving without asking. You've been loyal without return. You've been choosing her daily while she's been coasting on automatic renewal. And that imbalance has been killing your relationship. So what happens when you flip it? When you stop giving unconditional presence? When you pull your energy back? When you invest in yourself again? She feels it. She notices. She questions it. That questioning is the seed of desire being reborn, because suddenly, she remembers what she forgot. You're not a guarantee. You're a choice, and choices can be lost. Here's the awakening. She needs to feel your absence to value your presence. She needs to feel the risk to feel attraction. She needs to realize your commitment isn't permanent no matter what. It's conditional on mutual desire, mutual effort, mutual respect. Not comfort, but consequence. Not guarantee, but choice. Not survival, but revival. And let's be honest, if she had to choose you again today, would she? With the way things are right now, would she look at you the way she once did? Would she pick you out of a crowd of men? Or would she see you as the safe option, the background figure, the one she can always take for granted? If that question makes your stomach drop, good. That's the point. That's the wake-up call. That's the moment of clarity most men never reach. Because the truth is brutal, but freeing. You don't have to accept neglect. You don't have to accept being invisible. You don't have to accept the slow death of desire. You have the power to shift the energy, to reset the polarity, to demand more. Not through words, but through action. So here's the final loop. This can be the death of your marriage, or the rebirth of it. The outcome depends on one thing: whether you keep tolerating less, or finally require more. The resurrection of passion begins the moment you stop accepting scraps, the moment you stop tolerating neglect, the moment you step back into being the man she once craved, and the man she could crave again. The awakening starts with you. Thank you for watching. If this message hit you, don't just scroll away. Subscribe, dive deeper into our content, and start building the mindset that puts you back in control. Drop a comment below. What's the biggest struggle you want us to break down next? Let's build a brotherhood of men who rise above confusion and reclaim their power. See you in the next video.